Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Revelry Chill, the only podcast on the internet where we all talk about movies and TV. Revolutionary idea.
One.
The only one.
Only one.
Not going to find this kind of shit anywhere else. Today, I'm Danny, and I'm joined by Daniel.
I'm Daniel.
Haley.
That's me.
Carolyn.
Hurrah.
And Jake.
Who?
Jake.
Oh.
Jake from
That's me.
State Farm.
Jake from State Farm.
Come on.
AKA Jake the Snake.
Yep.
Move on. Just move along.
Welcome back. Last week we were talking about the first half of season 4 of Black Mirror, giving our thoughts and kind of just having a general discussion about it. And we're back to talk about episode 4 through 6. And personally, these are where some of my favorites are.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
This is all killer.
This part has my favorite episode in it.
Yes.
And mine too, I think.
All right, so let's get right into it. We led off. We're going to read you a synopsis of the episode and kind of just give you our thoughts on it. So getting right into this, episode 4 is called Hang the DJ. Written by Charlie Brooker, once again. Directed by Timothy Van Patten. Starring Georgina Campbell, Joe Cole, and Gina Bramhill. Bramhill. I really suck at pronouncing names. I'm learning suddenly. Synopsis of the episode. Paired up by a dating program that puts an expiration date on all relationships, Frank and Amy soon begin to question the system's logic. They are somewhat forced to date people that the system links them with for a specific period of time, which they check before the relationship even starts. Ranging from 24 hours to years. We all know what happens when you have a 24-hour relationship. I like that, Haley. That's good stuff right there. Okay. Haley wrote that. And if you don't know what happens in a 24-hour relationship, you get boned.
Yeah. It's called a one-night stand.
Yeah. You're welcome. In one way, right?
You get boned.
So this episode was pretty fucking clever, in my opinion, and probably my personal favorite.
This was tied for my favorite episode with another one.
Tied with one we're going to talk about later?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't watch this short shit.
I loved this one.
Daniel kind of like, he didn't have time, I guess, right? Maybe.
No, I didn't really have time, and this one just didn't really look like it was going to interest me. So
yeah, I don't think you would care, honestly.
No.
So, but it's pretty easy to understand, and what basically the whole premise of like this world that you think you're in for the first. I mean, you don't even learn what's really going on until the last like 2 minutes of the episode. Yeah. But the whole world that you're in, or they're in, the characters, is basically an algorithm in a phone app.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So the ultimate dating app.
Yeah.
It's like the dating app to end all dating apps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're paired up in this system where they're forced to date each other for an extended period of time, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. And the idea is that they go through all of these different relationships until they find the one. I forget what they call it, your ultimate match or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's very clearly like a strange world. You don't really know what's going on, except there's like a wall like in the outskirts of the little town area, and so you're kind of like the whole time I watched this I was like, there's something fucking really strange going on here.
Yeah. For sure.
They got these little buttons called coach that basically help them along in their relationship and tell them how long is left in the relationship, and so it's very bizarre, but the whole premise comes kind of tumbling down, and you see what it's all about because Frank and Amy, the two main characters, choose to say, fuck this system. You and I want to be together, right? And there's a whole like inner story of how they were matched up once.
And they fall in love.
Yeah, they fell in love, but then the relationship ended, or it was very short, and then they got paired up again, and like they had like a fight or whatever.
Yeah, and he messes it all up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to throw that in there.
Yeah. And if you haven't watched the previous episode, and if you haven't gathered yet, full spoilers. If you haven't watched it, go watch the show and then come back. Yeah. So yeah, they basically say, fuck this system. They go they climb the wall to see what is beyond the wall because they don't know the whole time.
Yeah.
And they've basically rebelled
Yeah.
to say, no, we're not doing this. We're going off with each other and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And so when they climb the wall, they get into this weird, like, digital space, right?
It's like an abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where there are literally thousands of other, 1,000 other versions of themselves
That have rebelled.
Yeah, that have done it.
that have done it.
Yeah.
And then a little number appears that says 998 rebellions out of 1,000 interactions or
Yeah.
whatever it was. And so it flips into reality and it shows 98% match for these two people who are hooking up on a
Yeah.
phone app.
Yeah.
So
It's all-
basically, if you find someone within the algorithm and you rebel so many times, that's how they decide you're matched with each other, which I thought was fucking adorable.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a brilliant concept in my opinion. Like,
I thought
Well,
so
they
too.
chose the other person
Yeah, you
over
choose each
pretty much
other.
anything else because they don't know what's beyond that wall.
Yeah.
It could be death, you know?
yeah. So anyways, yeah, you guys all really like this
I
one.
loved
and-
this episode. I thought it was
okay.
adorable, and kind of. I like more not heartfelt, but I like an intellectual
Cute,
story a
sappy
lot. Sometimes, yeah, but I like an intellectual dialogue. Like I always tell Jake, my favorite movies are talky fuck movies, like where they just talk the whole time.
Talky fuck?
Yeah,
movies.
where it's
That's
just
a new
like
thing.
they're just interacting. You know,
Yeah.
I love human interaction. This
So,
was
like-
totally like what happens when you fall in love. You'll do anything for that person. And I liked that was the goal, even though they didn't know that was the goal. I thought that was adorable.
So it's,
and kind
it's
of
written
true.
to just yank on the, just right on
Tugs
the
on the
heartstrings.
heartstrings.
It's
Yeah,
like,
like,
well,
aw.
let's just make it like if you rebel, that's what means you stay together.
Yeah.
Man,
Like,
it makes me feel so bad for Frank, though, because that girl that he's dating is just the worst
The
human
second one that
being.
he gets hooked up with. Oh
and
my
it's
god,
like
I
for
know.
a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
It's so
and
long.
they just hate each other the whole time.
Exactly. I mean, how can you live like that for a year and a half?
So funny. Oh my god. I loved it though. I thought it was really clever. I thought it was really heartfelt. And then the end and the twist, and you're like, oh, these weren't even the real people. They haven't even met each other yet. And then they meet each other in the bar, and you're like, aw, so that's how it works. It's kind of interesting. It's a
Sappy.
clever story. It's way original.
It is sappy for
Yeah.
sure.
That's kind of what I didn't like as much about it. It's a little too sappy for me.
Really?
Yeah.
A little too sappy. They poured syrup all over that baby.
Yeah,
I got
they
diabetes
did.
from it.
It was very cute.
Yeah, I'm
If
with
gonna
Jake
watch
on this one.
If I'm gonna watch Sappy, I'm gonna watch Princess Bride.
Princess
See, and
Bride.
I
As you
hate
wish.
Princess Bride,
Oh
so
my God.
I don't know what's wrong
Get
with
me
me.
on that one.
You don't like that movie?
No, I don't.
What the fuck
I
is
think
wrong
it's
with
fucking annoying.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's too silly. I don't like too silly.
That was what I didn't like about this episode.
I like a
That-
proper amount of silly.
That and I don't know the rebelling and then them. That's what we were supposed to do was rebel.
I would rebel for
Like,
you.
fuck that. Well, yeah, but like
See?
it's just.
But it's an algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as Daniel's point. The people in that algorithm, it seems as if they're conscious of their own being, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I think the blurred lines come in this episode, where you don't like how is a phone doing that,
Yeah.
right? That's what I kind of like about it a lot, is because there's more going on here.
Yeah,
Like
way
I
more.
don't think they were just imagining it. I think like given the normal premise of Black Mirror and in all the separated stories is that it's something that's actually happening.
Yeah.
Right. So there's like consciousnesses. Is that the plural form of consciousness?
Consciousness.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people's consciousness in
Conscious.
the phone.
Conscious.
Yeah. They're in the phone. Like
Yes.
they're really there.
They're in the
They're
phone.
fucking in the phone, guys.
So
They're in the phone.
So obviously
the
something was
cloud.
happening there, and I thought that was really clever. Like, yeah, I totally agree that it was sappy.
Yeah.
But I also thought that, like, oh shit, okay, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I couldn't buy into the world in general, and that, I just couldn't. I don't know. That's what I didn't like. But I guess that's why it's a good episode. It's not a bad episode. I like the episode. It's just I'm just like, why would you want to conduct yourself in a relationship that way, where it was already planned? Oh, I got to spend a year and a half
But
with
it's
this.
not
And
real. Like, you don't
See
know
ya.
it's not real at the time, but it makes more sense because nobody would do that in real life. That's obnoxious.
Ugh.
It makes more sense that it's an algorithm.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting too how I think they kind of played around with the idea of what's the word? People being subservient, because anytime they would start to rebel, there would be these fucking weird
Like security.
Israeli Mossad looking motherfuckers, you
Right?
know, coming out of nowhere,
With their tasers.
hiding in bushes,
Hiding
and
in
everyone was
bushes.
just like, "Oh, okay,
Whoops.
yeah, no, it's fine. I'll be unhappy for 9
all good.
years."
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck would do that?
Fuck
Yeah.
that.
For one, who would do
Stealing
that?
a taser.
And secondly, obviously later on we find out that those things, those fucking mob dudes, they aren't even real.
No,
Yeah.
they're
Like,
not.
you can move right through them. So
Right through 'em.
if
They're just
more
there to
people
scare
are
you.
doing that, wouldn't more people find out?
You'd think.
But no one does.
Yeah, no one finds
At
out.
Well, and
least
I
it's-
think you're missing that, like, when they go over the wall and into that weird abyss or room they're all in, there's 1,000 of them. So I would assume that there are a billion different versions of reality happening at the same time. That was just,
Oh, okay.
you know what I mean? So I don't know how, like, and there's that one part where they're running out of the restaurant and everything pauses.
Yeah.
So I don't know that everyone else is even part of their universe at that point. You know what I mean?
Maybe the
There's
other
a bunch
people
of
are
different
just bots.
versions. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
they could
okay.
just be there for the sake of it.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
They'd be,
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
like the guards
It's all,
are.
it's all for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all for them.
See, and I didn't
Okay.
really pick up at the end that those were all different versions of themselves. I kind of thought that they were different couples that had done the same thing. But now that you bring that up, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it's all of them.
Yeah, it's all of them. You know, at first too, I thought that it was like some kind of government controlled, like, this is your, you know, we're gonna figure out exactly who you're supposed to be with.
Yeah, like here's
For
how we
you.
control population growth.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If that's
These
how they
ones
want to
can
do it, I'm all
reproduce
in.
and these ones cannot.
Screw it. Let's do it.
Well, and another thing too, like, now that you mention it, like, or just hearing you say that, like, they let them fuck,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's the rule of the fucking land.
That keeps them happy, man.
That they can fuck, but no one ever gets pregnant
Yeah,
They've
that's
been-
true.
They've been sterilized. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
because they're not real, man. They're
Yeah.
little digital fuckers.
Yeah.
You know.
They can't procreate.
Can't procreate. Yeah.
So
I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was probably one of the most clever, in my opinion.
That's why
For
I
sure.
liked it, because it was
Or
clever.
they do procreate and they just have digital babies and then they're put in that infinity game and that's how they make NPCs. It's all fucking connected, bro.
Well, and you'll
Daniel
come to
come in
find
with
out
the
in a
knowledge
later
drops.
episode that Black Mirror is kind of interrelated.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not
So-
only that, but the song that plays in almost every single episode of Black Mirror.
Is it the same fucking song?
Really?
Yeah.
Is it
So if you,
what is the song's
the one
name?
from Crocodile?
it might be in Crocodile.
The one where they're like, oh yeah, sniff this beer and listen to this song.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
that
the song.
It's in more than
almost-
one episode?
It's
Oh,
in
yeah.
a bunch.
Yeah.
It's almost in all of
Weird.
them.
I didn't know that.
Well, never mind. That's going way too far back. But
It's fine.
That's okay.
so in the episode where they are, you know, forced to exercise for points,
Yeah,
or whatever,
I remember that one.
Yeah.
That's the song she sings when she's trying to be like that idol.
How
person.
interesting. I never noticed that before.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's in a lot of them.
That's funny. That's interesting that it's all interconnected, kind of. I guess more than I even knew.
Yeah, it
That's
is like a
cool.
very generic sounding song too, so it could be easy to miss.
You don't
for
notice,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, plus all the little devices that are put on their brain, like on their temple right here, that read their brain for the cloud.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
They're all the same. Well, it's
That's
the black,
true.
It's
I have
the Black
noticed
Mirror
that.
symbol.
Yeah. I have
on all
noticed
of them.
that.
Boop, boop, beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, or Wraith Babes.
Wraith babes.
The same episode she's talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
from season 1 where they have the most like mundane work. You know, they exercise, and then they play ads all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, Wraith babes. Super tits and popping vaginas.
Popping vaginas.
Like, and it's an ad, right? But that ad appears
In more than one episode?
Yeah, I think only one other.
Oh, that's
but
funny.
it does appear.
Well, it's not an
Interesting.
ad in
Babes.
there. It's just like a option for them to watch on the TV.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, it's in Crocodile
Is it in Crocodile?
when she's watching porn.
Oh, the porno, yeah.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
and it's Wraith babes.
Oh my
It's
god,
Wraith
that's funny.
What kind of name for a porno is Wraith babes anyway?
Yeah, that's
Like
weird.
like a wraith, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Wraiths and Supernatural
Well,
are
maybe
not
it's
good.
because
No.
they're just indicating that those porn stars are kind of dead inside.
That's true.
They're wraiths. They're not even real humans.
very clever, babe.
Yeah.
I think that's
Man.
actually probably
it's probably
pretty
their-
accurate.
Yeah, I bet
Yeah.
it is.
All right, well, shall we move on from this one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good one. Go watch it.
Yeah, it is.
but I also hate it.
Episode Episode 5 is called Metalhead. Written once again by Charlie Brooker, directed by David Slade, starring Maxine Peake, Jake Davies, and Clint Dyer. In the post-apocalyptic landscape of the Scottish moors, a woman attempts to survive the land full of quote-unquote dogs, shot entirely in black and white. And in parentheses, boo.
Boo.
Because black and white is scary.
So scary.
So,
Terrifying.
I don't know. That's pretty much all there is.
That's pretty
I
much
think
So-
I liked this episode more than everybody sitting here,
Okay.
to be honest. And it's not in my top 3, but I thought it was terrifying. Like I just couldn't stop imagining like how awful. Like basically the dogs are like these little robot things that run around and apparently have taken over the whole world, and they are just annihilating the entire human race, the entire living anything. They annihilate all the animals. They're killing everything.
Yeah, they're really unstoppable.
And they never
too.
really explain why that happened or where they came from, but it's sad.
Yeah, which
It's-
frustrated me.
Yeah, and it was really brutal, and it was a great episode for me because it's one of those episodes where your heart is pumping the whole time. You're like, oh my god, you want her to get away, you want her to survive, and she doesn't. But
That's true.
and I loved it. I
It was
thought
intense,
it was great.
for
it
sure.
was a really intense episode.
Yeah,
I
think it was the
interesting.
Those
shortest
dogs look more
shortest episode. I think this season.
Really?
I believe. Yeah, I think it was only 41 minutes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I liked that it was all in black and white because the story is so sad and desolate. Black and white does that better than color every single time. I thought it was great. I thought it was really clever and really interesting and really intense.
Yeah, super stripped down.
Yeah.
Episode,
And
for
stripped
sure.
down is good once in a while. Black Mirror gets a little overload sometimes. And this was a good stripped down,
Like a
interesting
little too
episode.
involved sometimes.
Yeah, there's too much going on. It's busy.
That's
and this
fair.
was a really stripped down version of how technology is horrific sometimes. I thought it was great.
It's kind of like it was a dumbed down version of the Terminator, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of the robots have taken over.
Yeah.
I didn't watch this one either.
No. I think you might like it.
You might like. I think
Yeah.
you would. You would like this.
Oh, our friend Ryan said he didn't like it.
Yeah.
We generally had the same kind of taste. So I was like, I'm gonna fucking watch it.
Yeah. I mean, if you can just kind of get over the fact that it doesn't explain a whole lot.
Nothing is gonna be as good as Terminator 2.
True. No, it's not as good as Terminator 2.
No,
Definitely
it's
not.
Why even bother?
If you gotta watch this or Terminator 2.
Pick
Yeah.
Terminator 2 every time.
But it is kind of post-apocalyptic, and they're trying to survive. They're hiding. They're running. It is really intense, and it's a great thriller of an episode. I thought it held my attention.
I feel like the thing that really bothered me the most is what they were trying to retrieve. Because the whole time you think, okay,
Yeah.
they're trying to get medical supplies. That means somebody really desperately needs it, and this is where they can get it. And that
Yeah.
makes sense to me why they would. But then at the end, it was all for a flipping teddy bear?
That was totally
Please. Oh
disappointing.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Nobody would do that.
I
I'm
agree
sorry.
with that.
Sorry, kid, cried without your teddy bear.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's where it lost me
Yeah,
too.
I agree. That was a really, really disappointing ending. It's like you wanted it to be something really important or really cool or that could have saved the world or something, and it was a fucking teddy bear.
Hey,
For a person that's not even in, like a character you don't see, that you don't care about. It's like, it's hard to care about this fucking kid somewhere getting a teddy bear when they're not even in the fucking episode.
exactly.
And all these people die because
the invisible
of it.
character.
Yeah, I didn't like
fucking hate the invisible character.
Me too.
It's such a cop out.
Well, you can't care about them. You can't. They're not part of what you're watching.
No.
You have no relationship or connection to that character.
And Haley's absolutely right. Like, if I told you right now, like, hey, it's all fucked up out there, you'll probably die. But like, I kind of want a teddy bear.
So go get me one.
Good luck with that.
Like, even if I was dying, I think you would probably be like, no, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go die to get you a teddy bear.
I'll make you one.
Right?
Like, couldn't they, stitch some pieces? Like, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Making a teddy bear is really not that hard.
The reason behind the events of the episode is stupid, but the events of the episode
The
I thought
entire
were
episode's
really
about getting a
interesting.
goddamn teddy bear.
You don't know that till
You
the
don't know that
end.
till the
Yeah.
end.
That till the very end.
What the fuck?
And you're just like,
I'm really glad I didn't watch this episode. I'm pissed.
It's the thinnest episode, I would say. It's definitely the thinnest as far as that goes. It feels like
It's a thin dick.
Black Mirror kind of has this ebb and flow to how much they decide to spend on each episode. It seems like
These guys got the short end
I
of the
think
stick.
I think this one got the short end of the stick.
Or you got
this
$50, make it work.
This one looked like a student film almost.
Well, and I wonder too, like, because they're all directed by different people. Like, I'm wondering if they give a lot of control to the director.
It seems like
to
they do.
it how they want to spend as much or as little as they want to. So maybe it was the director's, taste to do it that way. And honestly, I don't think for the intensity of the story, stripping it down was a bad thing. I think the busier you make that, it gets convoluted. Intense fear and thrill like that doesn't need anything else, in my opinion. It's enough. And the actress in it is great.
Yeah.
She's
really
really intense, and
sells it,
you
for
are fucking afraid for her the whole time.
yeah, and she's really stupid,
Yeah,
too.
she is.
It's kind of stupid.
Like, let's get on the walkie-talkie, like, twice,
Yeah.
so this dog can find me again.
Yeah, and that's true. But
Like,
Yeah, the
hello.
electronic dogs can like read radio
they
signals.
can do everything.
And she has a walkie-talkie, and she's like constantly on it.
Yeah, that's true.
And she's like, just wanted to say goodbye, and she does that twice throughout the thing, and it's like, okay,
Isn't that Battle Los Angeles where they fucking aliens can hone in on the radio signals?
Yeah,
I don't think I ever watched that.
it was.
don't
I
think
thought
I
that
did
movie
either.
was pretty cool.
Fucking cool.
Yeah,
I'm not an action movie person. Obviously, I like talkie movies.
Yeah.
talkie fucks.
Talkie
Talkie
fucks.
Talkie
I am a
fucks.
talkie
You like,
fuck.
like Tarantino movies?
Yes, I love
Okay.
Tarantino movies.
He loves fucking dialogue.
Yeah. So does what's the dude? The one dude.
Oh yeah, that dude.
Aaron Sorkin.
Sorkin.
Love
Get
Sorkin.
Sorkin-fied. Yeah, go
What
watch
does he
some
do?
West Wing. He did all the West Wing episodes.
See, but I don't like
Social
West
Network.
Wing. Social
He did that
Network.
one.
I loved. I love when people are just talking in a way.
He likes to. Well, he injects it with a lot of,
Did you watch The Circle?
circle.
No.
Jerk. No.
Did you like it? I heard some people hated it and some people loved it. But I haven't
I thought the
watched
cool
it.
idea, and then at the end, I thought it fell apart at the end.
That's what I heard. It didn't get great reviews, so I didn't watch it.
What the hell's the circle?
Oh, that's
It's
yeah.
got
Tom-
Hermione in it.
Yeah, Tom Hanks and
And Hermione. Granger.
Hermione.
It's a shame.
What's her name? Emma Watson.
Yeah.
That's her name.
Emma Watson. She gets a job working for this big tech company, pretty much like Facebook type, Google type company, and she eventually goes on to have her whole life fucking videoed in its entirety, at all times, pretty much.
Ugh.
And then fucking it eventually, obviously causes a bunch of fucking issues.
Hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
Hilarity ensues.
Is it a comedy or kind of a?
No, it's
okay.
not comedy at all.
They were being sarcastic, I think.
Okay,
right.
funny fucked up shit.
No, fucking they flash their parents and they're fucking boning down. So it gets broadcasted to everybody.
Ew.
Jesus.
So it kind of fucks up her relationship
pretty
with her
shitty.
parents, and then
Gross.
Okay.
All right, I don't need to watch that. Sorry, whoever made
part
that
of it.
movie.
This
Anyway,
Yeah. Anything else on Metalhead before we move on?
no,
Okay.
I think I'm good on it.
fucking teddy bear sounds like it sucks.
Right. My final.
That goddamn teddy bear.
My final thought is that if it would have been something a little bit more
Important.
than a teddy
Fucking
bear,
blanket or something.
even like I don't know, man. What?
Water.
Band-Aids.
Water. Yeah,
Water
that would have
food.
even been more
Plans to the Death Star.
important.
Right?
Jack Daniels.
How to
water.
shut down the dogs and save the world. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
And
Anyway.
who created these robot dogs anyway?
No one knows.
What the fuck?
And one more thing, like they mentioned, like how at the beginning of the show they're talking about how the life of a pig is undignified because they're just walking around looking at each other's assholes all day.
Yeah.
And then she mentions like at least
From
they're
Animal
equal.
Farm,
I think
that quote.
that the dogs were originally created by the wealthy to keep the poor from stealing from them.
Maybe so.
So maybe that's what that is
Interesting.
referencing back to.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
You gotta
Maybe
read
you're
between the
right.
lines, figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they still
type it
said that in the modern day, not their modern day.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, look at these pigs, right?
yeah. Pigs,
Yeah.
their snout is at the same level as their asshole. So
Well, they were
that's a
talking
quote
about
from,
how there were
Animal
pigs
Farm.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the book Animal Farm. George
Oh, really?
Orwell. Yeah.
If you
Oh,
haven't
okay.
read it, go read it. It's good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's classic.
I thought you had that written down here somewhere.
I did.
Well, anyways, yeah, that's a good point. That was weird, though. You know, they still just I don't know.
was a
There
weird
wasn't enough
episode.
there for
It was
me.
it was thin.
And they didn't explain the backstory at all,
Not
which
even
is
a little
which
bit.
makes you really frustrated whether you liked it or not. To not know what the fuck is going on and why it's happening is kind of annoying.
And you just kind of keep waiting for it to come up, and then you're like, oh, well, I guess it's
All right.
over now.
Yeah.
Maybe
Anyway.
teddy
Teddy
bears
bear?
hold like a very great secret to the world.
Maybe they're worshipped in the new world.
Could
and
be.
they needed a new one.
Could be.
Maybe that's why the dogs
old
were
Teddy,
guarding them
old great Teddy.
so much.
Haley's over there singing fucking God knows what.
Like that episode of the Orville
It's a
where she's
hymn
God.
to honor
Maybe
the
at
great
some
Teddy.
point, honoring the great Teddy.
When Bill the Bear takes over the world.
All right, let's move on.
Yes.
Episode 6 is
Yes.
called Black Museum. Written once again by Charlie Brooker, based on the
crazy
story based on the story Pain Addict by Penn Jillette. Directed by Cole McCarthy, starring Douglas Hodge, Letitia Wright,
Letitia.
Wright, and Daniel Lapine.
Le Pen.
Different Daniel.
What a
That
good
bad.
name for this.
Right, fitting. I think this was my favorite episode,
Yeah.
honestly. It was tied for Hang the DJ, but now that I'm thinking about it again, this is probably my favorite episode.
This one is my favorite
Yeah.
episode of all of the episodes.
Yeah, let's not
No
recap
take-
this
no
because it would
take-backs.
take way too long,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think.
It would. Let's just talk about it.
Again, we're assuming you've seen it.
If you haven't seen it, pause, go watch it, come
If you
Gotta
back.
haven't
get
seen it,
through
why
that
the
one.
fuck are you here?
Yeah, exactly. Because we're going to be here a while. Okay, so
I just want to spoil everything for myself.
this was like everything that makes Black Mirror wonderful.
Yeah.
Technology being awful, people being awful. It was grotesque, but there was redemption at the end. It was perfect. And then it's nice that the opening scene of the episode, they were pretty much driving through my favorite place in the world.
Seems like, yeah.
It looked just like Moab, so I was
Seems
like, I'm
like it
gonna
was
like this
Moab or
one from the
something.
very beginning.
Was it
she
Moab?
Said she says she's coming from Salt Lake
Yeah.
City.
It was, so
right.
that alone, I was like, oh, I'm gonna like this
the Black Museum somewhere in
in the
southern
middle of
Utah.
nowhere. Yeah, it was
See,
great.
I really liked how that museum was actually had items from the crimes that had been committed in previous episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was super cool.
Like
Tied
the bathtub from
universe
Crocodile.
together. Yeah.
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 And the DNA converter box from USS Callister.
Yeah.
And-
That was
And
cool.
the tablet
crazy.
From Archangel. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But then you get to meet some of the new items.
Yeah. I loved it.
Oh my god, there were so many fucked up things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I liked that it was more than one story in one episode. I thought that was super
I
cool.
thought it was cool, but at the same time, I was like, really? I'm like, they're fucking putting in a show about like individual stories, and then they cram multiple stories into one episode.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered about that
thought that
too.
was fucking funny. I was like, wow, fuck. It's like,
I feel like they were
Yeah.
wasting their ideas a little bit. Kind
yeah.
of.
Right?
blown
Yeah,
your
like
load
that.
a little bit in one episode.
The story about the dead girlfriend or the comatose girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like that was a good story, but that could have been a whole episode.
Yeah.
And
in my
also,
opinion.
who in their fucking right mind would ever want
my
to put
God.
somebody's
Oh my God.
consciousness into their own
No.
fucking head?
I don't even
care
want
how
my
much you love
own
somebody.
consciousness in my own head
Yeah.
sometimes. Like mine is way enough. Too much
I
sometimes.
got enough voices up there.
Right? Can you imagine a
many.
backseat driver 24/7? Even
my
if you
God.
love them.
And then-
Even
Yeah.
if you love them.
And then speaking on that, I think that was probably the only surprise in that episode really for me was at the end, her mom's consciousness is in her head. That was
Yeah.
the only thing that really surprised me. I kind of knew
That was
something-
weird.
Something crooked was going on because otherwise, why the fuck would she be at the fucking Black Museum?
Yeah.
In the first place.
She had to recharge her car, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, something
Yeah.
was
plot
up.
point.
Yeah.
They had to set it up somehow.
Yeah.
See, I was kind of fearful for her. I was like, oh my God, this guy's going to do something to her.
I was too, like the whole time I'm like, this has got to end badly where she like gets trapped and becomes an exhibit or something. Like I was worried for her the
Becomes
whole
an
time
exhibit.
too.
Huh, that's true.
Because that's what I thought, especially like he goes, and the last one, and he like takes her into the back room, and you're like, oh,
I'm
fuck,
not going
this
into
is
the
not
back
going to end
room
well.
of any weird
Yeah, I read the
museum.
description and I knew like immediately that the main attraction was going to be something,
Something
Yeah.
to do
And then
with
when they
her.
showed the dude, it was a black dude there. I'm like, oh, that's her like dad or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
She just poisoned homeboy.
Yeah,
Because he's
yeah.
a fucking evil bastard. Like,
Yeah.
he's telling her all these stories and he's directly responsible for them. You say like, oh, this guy's fucked for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, he's almost like getting off
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah.
Carney, fucked up Carney.
Well,
Yeah,
he-
that was the overwhelming theme, was that this pain and taking advantage of other people's pain in every story kind of was the main theme, I think.
Using people's pain to further technology.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of the theme of this whole season. Yeah. People's
Yeah,
pain,
that's true.
kind of furthering technology.
Yeah.
You having to just deal.
And taking over, yeah. And being used against you in a lot of ways. Yeah.
But yeah, this episode's probably my second favorite after USS Callister.
Really?
Just because USS Callister was so sci-fi and kind of Star Trek-y. And
Yeah,
I
I
love
really liked that
shit.
one and I really liked this one.
Yeah.
This one's so good.
I think they're probably
And this one, I think, is the most fucked up.
Yeah.
Easily
Oh,
by,
for
by
sure.
a long ways.
Yeah.
Every new
Just got
watching
worse.
it again, I was like, oh, I don't even want to watch this again.
Yeah.
Right now, this is like, ugh. it's too
And the
much.
pain guy, the doctor
the
with the
pain
thing
thing.
in his, oh my fucking
Ugh.
God.
That's the most messed up thing.
That was some intense shit.
That was horrific.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst Black Mirror story of all time. I feel like it was disgusting.
They could have done. That's another one. They
Right.
could have done a whole episode about that. though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But I don't know. By the time they were done with that one, I was like, cool, I'm good.
Okay.
I don't need to watch any more of that.
I'd be more weirded out about having my consciousness unloaded into a goddamn teddy bear
That's true.
Fuck
That's
that shit.
awful.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awful.
for a live
Just
for
like
eternity
purgatory.
inside a fucking teddy bear. Yeah,
But
Yeah.
Daniel, it's just a
at
consciousness.
least he
It's
drilled
not
the
a real
dude, got a
person.
fucking heart on, and fucking just had a big old shit-eating grin on his face for the rest of fucking his comatose life.
Ugh,
That's so gross.
God.
Oh yeah, he left. He added the heart on. That's right.
Yeah, he made that part up.
He made that part up.
See, but you bring up an interesting point because I think there's a little bit of crossover between the USS Callister one and this one, with like especially with the teddy bear and sort of with the dad. But even though it's a digital version of himself, right?
Yeah.
So like, is it all that fucked up that the woman's living inside the teddy bear, even though it's not her?
It's a copy of her consciousness.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, do we know that though? Do we know
No.
if it's a
We don't
copy
know
or
if
if
it's
it's
a copy.
actually her
Yeah.
consciousness?
they
think it
portray
is.
it as actually
It's-
her
it's
consciousness.
Yeah,
her
it's same
consciousness.
with the
Yeah.
guy in
they
the
kill
cell.
the body after they
Yeah.
take the consciousness out.
Yeah, so I guess it is different than the people who are in USS Callister
But
because they
still,
get to
fuck
live
that,
on.
dude. I'd fucking say just delete that fucking consciousness. That's no way to fucking.
No.
Yeah, you
it's
know
horrific.
exactly.
Why wouldn't she want to be deleted too?
Or why don't they
Like,
just
I'm
take
living
her
in this
consciousness
chair.
and throw it into the USS Callister, and then she could hang out with
Boom.
other fucking.
Right?
it's all
there
connected,
you go.
if it's all
There you
connected,
go.
They
Put
could
her
all
on the
bang and
ship.
shit.
Yeah, for real. Yeah,
For real.
yeah. God, I love that they're all connected though.
Yeah,
Kinda.
that was
I don't know
super
if
cool.
I mean, is it one universe? I guess it is.
it
It
must
have
be,
to be, right?
yeah.
Have the
That has to
items.
be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
But is it only through that season, or are they all?
Well, and I'm
Was there items for any of the previous seasons?
I didn't notice any.
I didn't notice any either.
It may be wrong. I'm sure somebody would.
Well, and that would bring up a
probably a whole Reddit
good
thread
question
about this shit.
because I'm wondering, because the way this episode was laid out, it kind of had like a finality to it. So, like, are they gonna keep making Black Mirror? Or is like, because it kind of felt like an ending.
No, they're probably
to all of it. I hope they do,
yeah.
but
Oh my God, Jesus!
nice.
Did that was it one of the cats?
I think it was one of the cats.
I think it just fell off.
I think it just slid off.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, that's
stacked
funny.
on a bunch of blankets. It wasn't very
There's a
sturdy.
ghost in this room.
Hello?
So hold on, who you feel like it's the
Well, I
finale?
just wonder, like, and it makes sense to be the finale to the season. But
Right.
it did have. I liked that it kind of had a finality to it because none of the other seasons have been interconnected in a big way, and this one was, and that was kind of. I liked that. It was interesting to go. Oh yeah,
That was cool.
I liked
it was
that.
cool for sure. Yeah. I don't think they're done with it though.
I
don't know.
hope not because I love this
This
show.
is too good. It's too
Too many
good.
people like it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point there is going to be a point where you're going to be like, okay,
I've had enough of
that's
this shit.
enough. You're really reaching.
You're
now.
stretching. Yeah.
But all of them are pretty reaching in one way or another, though, right?
They're just written so
At
well that
least
it
how
doesn't
I-
matter. Yeah.
Maybe
That-
they'll just come up with less intriguing storylines,
Yeah.
and that's when they'll
This
finally
Charlie
die off.
Brooker guy, he can write.
He can write,
It's
man.
nuts.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Like,
He's the writer on all of them.
for the introduction of all of these, I keep saying once again, like
Once
he's
again.
repeating because everyone else isn't repeating. Directors,
No,
or
he-
stars.
even like producers and other positions too. But he writes all of it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Sometimes he has a partner that he writes with.
Yeah.
Once in a while, but
Or like
aside
the
from
last one, the pain addict story was written by someone else.
Penn
that, Penn
Jillette.
Jillette.
Yeah, of
Penn-
Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
In case
Just,
anybody
that
was
really
wondering.
just sounds like a pen.
Right?
A Gillette pen.
A Gillette pen.
Penn Jillette. Oh my God.
You can also use it to shave your
Shave your
legs.
All right, so why don't we wrap this up by maybe talking about how this stacks up with the other seasons for those of us that have watched all of them. I personally haven't watched every single one,
Yeah.
but I think I'd have an idea of where this would kind of line up, and personally I think this was the best one. There's other episodes within past seasons that are good,
Yeah.
but I think all of these were pretty consistently. Well, maybe it's not though, because Archangel I really wasn't a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't hate it, but like Metalhead, I did not like Metalhead.
Yeah. Every season has an episode like that
Yeah.
where you're like, what the fuck
And
did
there
I
was
just
a
watch?
I think it was season 3 where it had that fucking like extreme form of Instagram with the
Nosedive.
fucking.
I loved that
Nosedive.
episode though.
I hated that
I loved
one.
it. I loved it.
So, but I don't know. I don't know if that we'd even need to do that. But I think it was probably the better one of all 4.
I think it would be kind of hard because it's been a while since I've watched any of the other seasons. And we watched it in like a weird order when we started watching it like a year ago. And we watched season 3 first for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's the one with Nosedive that has, what's her face from Jurassic Park in it?
Jessica Chastain in it.
No, the other one.
Whatever her name is.
Bryce
Dallas Howard.
That
Yes.
one. And I love that episode. And then there's another episode. I don't know if it's the second one or the third one, but not too far into the third season where it's the fear one where they're testing out a game and it's virtual reality and he's in the fucking creepy old house and it's feeding off his own fear and honestly I think
So
that's
Resident Evil 7.
kind of yeah, but honestly that is still my favorite episode of Black Mirror.
Playtest.
Yeah, that's by far my favorite
Second
episode.
good one,
Yeah.
yeah.
In the
It's
third
fucking way
season.
cool.
Yeah,
It's really
and it's fucking terrifying too. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I think all of Black Mirror has been consistently really great.
Well, and then the White Christmas episode with John Hammond.
That was a
from season
weird
2.
episode. Yeah, that was a crazy episode.
I didn't watch that one all the way through either.
It's kind of
really good.
slow, but it's a good one.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say it's a good tie between 3 and 4.
Yeah,
for me,
because the
as far
third
as
season
best.
was great.
This is a killer. This is a clear.
What about you? You got an opinion on this, babe?
Yeah, I really I think that each season has at least one episode that I wasn't terribly fond of, but I still didn't dislike it. Like I watched every single episode and enjoyed it, but the one that I feel like was the most messed up was the one about the genocide, and it was
that's in season 3, right?
Yeah. Their genetic makeup, as far as
that's one I didn't see.
Yeah,
I think it was called Man Under Fire.
Men Against Fire. Men Against Fire.
Yeah,
Men
that was
Against
a crazy
Fire,
one.
and it's just it's so sad and messed up and just
Yeah.
That was a
hopeless.
horrific episode.
Yeah, season 3 really got me hooked on it, and then we watched the rest. Season 3 is actually a good season to start with, as far as
Yeah,
Black
and
Mirror
it
goes,
was
and then
on
watch 1, 2, and
Netflix
then 4 or
backwards,
something
like they did it on
yeah,
purpose.
it was weird. They put it on there weird.
So you think you like
Maybe
3
on
better?
Netflix,
Is that what you're saying?
No, I definitely liked season 4 overall best.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
And
just I had to think about it a little bit.
And Daniel, you haven't watched any others aside
No.
from this one.
No.
You think you will go back to it?
I don't know.
No?
I think you should. I think I would recommend.
You're missing out, bro.
Missing out, bro.
Maybe I will.
I don't
You should
know.
do season 3 at least. Do season
Yeah, because season 3 is great.
I like shows to be like a whole long running fucking
You don't like the
thing.
one episode
Not
deal.
enough, and they don't explain enough.
You're not
Yeah.
a Twilight Zone-y type guy. I mean, you like that.
It's ADD TV
Ah.
for today's generation is what
Okay.
Black Mirror is.
That's kind of true. That's kind of
That's a good
true.
point, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. These characters will be gone in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well,
fine.
you liked Game of Thrones, didn't you?
Game of Thrones is an entire fucking 7 long thing.
Yeah, but nobody
Story
lives
arc.
too long.
That's
The
true.
people I like are still alive.
That's true.
Better be. There better be.
Yeah. We'll have to cover whenever the fuck season 8
year.
comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Is it
We
for
might
sure?
just-
For sure next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have to do a whole Game of
Marathon.
Thrones side project.
We should do a fucking
'Cause-
marathon and have to fucking dress in character.
I know.
Jake won't do
Danny
that.
already has a fantastic Daenerys costume.
Yeah,
I will
he was
definitely-
Khaleesi for Halloween this year.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I will definitely
I was
be
his dragon.
Khaleesi.
The pictures are on the internet. Go find them.
Don't do that.
There's proof out there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think all in all, it was pretty good. We'll have to figure out what our next,
Oh,
what we're gonna do
You
next.
guys all
though.
watch Predestination?
Oh my god, I would love to do one on that, dude.
That movie's fucking nuts.
Yeah, there's okay. That's a good idea. Maybe
Yeah.
possibly look forward to that.
It's on
Yeah.
Amazon Prime too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
You
and
guys
feel
haven't
free
watched it?
to
got the
like,
Prime, bro?
subscribe, and share, and send us any ideas you have for topics you might want us to cover. Because Revelry and Chill, the idea is we kind of want to just talk about what's relevant as far as movies and TV and books and music and stuff like that. So if there's anything you guys want us to talk about, let us know. Because narrowing
Give us
it
a topic.
down, we've all got a lot of shit we like, but narrowing it down is helpful. So go for it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Great suggestion.
You're welcome.
Interactivity with the audience.
Yes.
Very good. I think that'll do it though.
Yeah.
About 45 minutes again. Damn, we're good.
We're good.
Hitting the mark, man.
Hitting the mark.
Okay, well, as she said, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, tell your grandmother and your grandfather and your kids as well. And we'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye-bye.